Have you ever wondered why some of the most powerful people you admire speak so little? Why their silence feels louder than words ever could? Silence is not empty. It is full of strength, waiting quietly inside you, ready to be claimed. In a world drowning in noise, where everyone rushes to be heard, the courage to stay silent is a rare and precious power. It is easy to believe that speaking up is the only way to show strength, but true strength is often found in what you choose not to say. When you embrace silence, you tap into a force that calms your mind, sharpens your focus, and makes your presence undeniable. Imagine what would happen if you stopped reacting to every stimulus, every opinion, every demand to voice your thoughts. Imagine the clarity you would gain by stepping back and listening instead of shouting to be heard. The reward of this quiet power is more than peace, it is control. Control over your emotions, your energy, and your destiny. Silence gives you the space to breathe deeply and think clearly. When you rush to fill every moment with noise, your mind becomes overwhelmed, scattered, and restless. But in silence, your brain finds the calm it desperately needs to sort through the chaos inside you. It is where your best ideas begin, where your true desires come into focus, and where your hidden strengths emerge. Holding your tongue does not mean weakness. It means you are protecting your energy and directing it with purpose. The quieter you become, the more you realize that you don't need to prove yourself with words. Your actions, your presence, and your steady calm will speak louder than any argument or explanation ever could. Most people fear silence because they confuse it with loneliness or emptiness. But silence is not a void, it is a sanctuary. It is the space where you reconnect with yourself, away from the noise and pressure of others' expectations. When you learn to sit with silence comfortably, you build emotional resilience. You become less reactive to stress, less triggered by criticism, and less controlled by fear. This is where your inner power is born, a power rooted in self-control and deep understanding. Staying silent in the right moments is like holding a secret weapon that the world often underestimates. It allows you to observe, to gather strength, and to respond only when it truly matters. This kind of strength cannot be shaken by chaos or criticism. The choice to stay silent is not about hiding or giving up your voice. It is about mastering when and how to use it. It is about realizing that sometimes the loudest statement you can make is in the quietest moments. By the end of this message, you will see silence not as a passive space, but as an active force, a force that can transform your mind, your relationships, and your life. So, if you want to rise above the noise and reclaim control over your world, listen closely and open yourself to the incredible power of silence. This is why you must stay silent. When you speak too much, something important slips away, your energy. Every word you release carries a piece of your power with it. Speaking is not just about sharing ideas, it's about giving away moments of your strength. It is easy to forget how exhausting it can be to constantly explain yourself, justify your actions, or defend your beliefs. The truth is, over-talking scatters your focus and weakens your presence. The more you fill the space with noise, the less people actually hear what matters most. When you speak less, you create space around your words. That space makes every sentence sharper, every thought more impactful. Silence is the secret weapon that allows your voice to carry weight without wasting energy. Excessive talking often masks insecurity. When you feel unsure, it's tempting to fill the air with words to prove your worth. But no amount of talking can replace genuine confidence. The moment you learn to value silence, you stop needing to prove yourself to others constantly. Your quietness becomes a sign of strength, a calm certainty that does not require constant validation. Psychology shows that people who master silence are seen as more confident and wise. They command respect not by the volume of their voice, but by the weight of their presence. Speaking less forces you to listen more deeply, to understand situations before reacting. This is how wisdom grows, quietly but powerfully beneath the surface. When you overtalk, you risk revealing too much, your doubts, your fears, your vulnerabilities. Words can betray what you try to protect. Every impulsive response or hurried explanation leaves cracks in your armor. Silence protects you. It hides your weaknesses and guards your intentions. It gives you the control to choose what to reveal and when. In the moments of silence, you build boundaries that words alone cannot enforce. This restraint is not weakness, but a strategic advantage. It gives you time to think, to observe, and to prepare a response that truly serves you. The power to choose when to speak and when to stay silent makes you unpredictable and therefore unstoppable. There is also a freedom in silence, the freedom to not react immediately, to step away from conflict, and to avoid unnecessary drama. Not every argument needs your voice. Not every situation requires your input. When you resist the urge to fill every pause with noise, you protect your peace. You refuse to feed chaos with your energy. This peace becomes your foundation, a quiet confidence that no one can shake. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond thoughtfully. Instead of getting pulled into other storms, you remain anchored in your calm. This is the kind of strength that changes lives and shifts power. You do not have to explain yourself to everyone. You do not have to justify your journey or your choices. When you accept that your silence can speak louder than any defense, you reclaim control over your story. Your words become rare, precise, and impactful. People learn to listen, not just to what you say, but to the power of what you don't say. This restraint rewires your relationships, your work, and your sense of self. It transforms you into someone who moves with purpose and quiet confidence. The less you talk, the more your silence will echo, and that echo will carry you further than noise ever could. Silence becomes your strongest defense against negativity. In a world filled with criticism, judgment, and endless noise, reacting to every slight or insult only drags you deeper into chaos. When you choose silence, you refuse to be pulled into the toxic currents of anger, resentment, and drama. Silence protects your peace. It shields your mind from the damage that harsh words and negative energy can inflict. Every time you hold your tongue in moments of conflict, you build emotional immunity, a resistance that keeps your heart steady and your spirit unshaken. This kind of strength does not come from confrontation, but from restraint. It is a quiet power that no one can take away because it lives inside you. Responding with words fueled by anger or frustration is easy. Staying silent requires discipline and courage, but that discipline transforms you. It rewires your brain to reject impulsive reactions and choose calm instead. Choosing silence gives you the time to see things clearly, to assess whether a response is necessary or if walking away is the real victory. The loudest battles often leave scars. The silent ones often bring peace. Silence is not weakness in the face of negativity. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. When you remain calm and silent, you send a message stronger than any shout, that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument or proving a point. The energy you save by not engaging in negativity can be redirected toward your growth. Every wasted word in conflict drains your focus and steals your potential. Silence conserves your strength for what truly matters, your dreams, your goals, your future. It allows you to detach from the petty noise that distracts from your purpose. When you choose silence over reaction, you reclaim your power. You decide where your attention goes and what deserves your energy. This choice shapes the quality of your life. You begin to notice that peace is not something you find outside. It is something you create within through silence. Many misunderstand silence as giving in or ignoring problems. In reality, silence is a powerful boundary. It is a way to say, I will not allow your negativity to enter my mind or control my emotions. This boundary is invisible but unbreakable. It preserves your dignity and protects your mental health. It separates you from chaos and aligns you with calm. The more you practice this silent shield, the stronger it becomes. You will find yourself less affected by toxic people and situations. You will rise above gossip, criticism, and drama without losing your balance. This freedom from external negativity is priceless. It gives you the ability to focus on what uplifts and empowers you. Silence is a refuge for your soul. It is where you reconnect with your inner strength when the world tries to tear you down. Choosing silence in the face of negativity is a radical act of self-love and courage. It shows that you value your peace more than proving yourself to others. It teaches you to rise above noise and chaos. This silence does not isolate you, it centers you. It gives you the power to respond only when it truly serves your growth. In silence, you reclaim control over your emotions and your life. This is the strength you have been seeking all along, the strength to stay silent, to protect yourself, and to rise above. Silence is not simply the absence of sound. It is the gateway to true listening. When you embrace silence, you open yourself to hear what most people miss, the subtle truths beneath the surface. In a world obsessed with talking, few know how to listen deeply. Yet listening is the skill that connects you to others in the most powerful way. Silence allows you to become fully present, to absorb not just words, but emotions, intentions, and unspoken messages. This presence builds trust, respect, and understanding, foundations that no loud argument or hurried explanation can create. The ability to listen quietly is a form of influence that cannot be taught. It must be earned through patience and stillness. By staying silent, you give yourself permission to learn. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to gather wisdom. You begin to see patterns, motivations, and truths that were invisible when you were too busy speaking. This deep listening rewires your brain for empathy and insight. It transforms your perspective, making you more thoughtful and less reactive. When you respond after truly listening, your words carry weight because they come from understanding, not impulse. This is the kind of communication that builds bridges and opens doors. Silence cultivates this power by giving your mind the space to fully process before reacting. Silence is also a powerful tool in managing relationships. Many conflicts arise not from what is said, but from what is assumed or misunderstood. By choosing silence, you create a pause, a moment to reflect rather than react. This pause allows you to avoid misunderstandings and respond with clarity instead of emotion. It shows respect for yourself and others. It demonstrates maturity and strength. When you practice silent listening, you give others the chance to feel heard and valued. This deepens connection and diffuses tension. People sense this calm presence and are drawn to it. Silence becomes your quiet influence, shaping relationships without force or argument. Inside this silence, your mind becomes clearer. You stop chasing the noise of external validation and start tuning into your own truth. The quiet space allows you to hear your own heart, your deepest desires, and your real needs. Without this silence, your thoughts become cluttered with distractions and doubts. But with it, your inner voice grows stronger and more confident. You learn to trust yourself without needing constant reassurance. This trust is the foundation of courage. It is the courage to make decisions, to set boundaries, and to pursue your dreams despite fear. Silence nurtures this courage by calming the chaos within. When you master the art of silent listening, you reclaim control over your responses. You no longer react automatically or emotionally. Instead, you choose your words and actions with intention and power. This choice transforms you from someone swept along by circumstance to someone who steers their own course. Silence becomes a conscious strategy, a way to engage with the world on your terms. It makes your communication more effective, your decisions more thoughtful, and your presence more commanding. The power of silence lies not in what you say, but in how deeply you listen and how wisely you respond. This skill of silent listening is the foundation for real influence and leadership. It builds trust, diffuses conflict, and creates space for genuine connection. It allows you to move through the world with confidence and grace, knowing that your power does not come from noise or force, but from calm and clarity. When you choose silence, you unlock this hidden strength, the strength to hear, understand, and respond with wisdom. This is the silent superpower waiting inside you, ready to change everything. Silence is not only what you express outwardly, but also the space you create within your mind. Your inner dialogue shapes your reality. Yet most of us let this conversation run wild, filled with doubt, fear, and distraction. Choosing silence internally means quieting this mental noise. It is a powerful act of self-mastery to still the restless chatter that keeps you trapped in anxiety or self-doubt. When you cultivate inner silence, you create room for clarity and peace. You start to see your thoughts for what they are, just thoughts, not facts or commands. This shift frees you from being a prisoner of your own mind and gives you the power to focus on what truly matters. The science behind silence inside the mind is profound. When you quiet your mental noise, your brain functions more efficiently. Stress decreases, focus sharpens, and creativity flourishes. This is not magic. It is a natural state that your mind craves but rarely experiences because of constant distractions. By practicing inner silence, whether through intentional pauses, mindfulness, or simply refusing to engage with every passing thought, you begin to retrain your brain. You develop new neural pathways that support calm, clear thinking instead of chaos. This transformation inside rewires you for success, resilience, and deep emotional balance. Inner silence also empowers you to master your emotions. When your mind is noisy, emotions control you. They surge like waves you cannot tame. But when you cultivate quiet inside, you create the space to observe emotions without being overwhelmed. This distance allows you to choose how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. You gain control over anger, fear, and frustration because you are no longer swept away by them. Emotional mastery is born in this stillness. It gives you freedom from the turmoil that often sabotages your progress and peace. The more you strengthen this silent space within, the more unshakable you become. With this inner silence comes a powerful form of confidence. When your mind is calm, your self-belief grows stronger because it is no longer dependent on external validation or constant reassurance. You trust yourself because you have learned to listen to your inner voice clearly and calmly. This trust gives you the courage to take bold steps, face uncertainty, and overcome challenges. Confidence rooted in inner silence is quiet but unbreakable. It does not need to shout to be heard. It carries you through difficult times with steady assurance and grace. This inner silence is also the birthplace of true creativity and innovation. When you stop the endless mental chatter, you open space for fresh ideas to emerge. Creativity thrives in calmness, not chaos. The greatest breakthroughs often come not from frantic effort, but from moments of quiet reflection. Silence inside your mind allows your intuition to speak, your imagination to soar, and your problem-solving skills to sharpen. This inner calm is where your best work begins, where solutions arise effortlessly because you have cleared away the noise that blocks your vision. Mastering inner silence is not a one-time achievement, but a daily commitment. It requires dedication to slow down, to resist the urge to react or overthink, and to create moments of stillness amidst life's demands. But the reward is immense. You transform from being a slave to your thoughts and emotions into the master of your inner world. This mastery radiates outward, influencing every aspect of your life, your decisions, relationships, and actions. Inner silence is the foundation of true personal power. It is the secret force that will carry you through any challenge and into the life you deserve. True courage is found in silence. It takes immense strength to hold your tongue when every part of you screams to react, to fight back, to defend, to explain. But courage is not loud, it is steady and calm. It is the quiet refusal to be pulled into chaos or conflict that does not serve your growth. When you choose silence in moments of pressure, you demonstrate self-control and dignity that no shouting or arguing can match. This courage to stay silent is a powerful declaration. You will not let external forces dictate your emotions or decisions. You take ownership of your peace, your energy, and your future. Silence in the face of provocation shows a mastery few possess. It means resisting the temptation to react impulsively to criticism, insults, or unfair attacks. Instead of fueling the fire, you become the calm center. This stillness confuses the chaos around you and shifts the power dynamic. Those who seek to provoke lose their control when met with quiet strength. You protect your emotional well-being by refusing to engage in needless battles. This is not avoidance, it is wisdom. It is choosing where to invest your energy wisely, understanding that some fights are not yours to fight. This silent courage empowers you to rise above petty disputes and maintain your integrity. The courage to remain silent also guards your reputation. Words spoken in anger or haste often lead to regret. A single careless comment can damage relationships, careers, and self-respect. By holding back, you preserve your image and your honor. Silence allows you to respond thoughtfully, with intention and clarity, rather than out of momentary emotion. This measured restraint builds trust and respect in others because they see you as someone who controls their impulses and thinks before they act. The power of silence is that it commands respect without demanding it. It is a quiet force that protects you and elevates you simultaneously. Staying silent when it matters most takes practice, but every time you succeed, your inner strength grows. It builds a muscle of patience and emotional resilience that becomes a part of who you are. This strength does not fade when the moment passes. It stays with you, shaping your character and mindset. You become less reactive and more reflective, less driven by fear and more guided by purpose. This courage nurtures confidence that you can face any challenge without losing yourself to anger, frustration, or impulsiveness. It teaches you that power is not in how loudly you speak, but in how firmly you stand in your own calm. This silent courage prepares you for greater battles, those that require strategic thinking and long-term vision. It positions you to act decisively when the time is right, rather than being worn down by constant conflict. When you choose silence, you conserve your energy for the moments that truly matter. You become a force to be reckoned with, not through noise or aggression, but through unwavering composure and focused action. This is the courage that transforms obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into strength. It is the courage that changes lives. The choice to stay silent in difficult moments is a profound act of empowerment. It redefines strength as self-mastery, patience, and grace. It invites you to rise above noise, distractions, and emotional turbulence. When you master this courage, you no longer react to the world. You shape it. Your silence becomes your greatest weapon, your shield, and your voice. It carries a power so deep and undeniable that it changes everything. This is the courage you were born to claim, the courage to stay silent and stand strong. Silence creates space, space where action grows. When you stop explaining, defending, or justifying yourself to everyone, you reclaim time and energy that fuel real progress. Words can be distractions, consuming the energy that should be spent building, creating, and moving forward. Talking often becomes a way to avoid doing. It offers a false sense of accomplishment without the risk and effort of actual work. But true power lies in doing, silent, consistent, focused action that speaks louder than any explanation. When you embrace silence, you clear the path to focus entirely on your goals, freeing yourself from the noise that slows you down. Every minute spent talking about your plans, your struggles, or your intentions takes away from the minutes you could be using to act. Silence is the container where productivity thrives because it demands attention and discipline. It pushes you to shift from thinking and talking into doing. This shift is where transformation happens. When you stop trying to convince others or yourself with words, you begin to prove through results. Actions become your language, your statement, your power. This is a fundamental truth. Less talk, more doing is the formula for unstoppable momentum. Silence also protects your vision from dilution. The more you vocalize your dreams and plans prematurely, the more they become vulnerable to doubt, criticism, and distraction. Sharing too much can invite negativity that chips away at your confidence and focus. Silence guards your vision as a sacred space. It allows your ideas to grow strong, undisturbed by external noise. When your vision is solid and clear inside, you are prepared to act with conviction when the moment is right. This protection through silence is not about secrecy, but about respect for your dreams and for your journey. It is about nurturing the seeds of your future in quiet strength. This quiet approach creates a powerful cycle. As you act silently, small wins accumulate. These wins build confidence and momentum without the pressure or interference that words often bring. Every step forward in silence strengthens your resolve and sharpens your focus. You become someone who delivers results without the need for constant explanation or validation. This shifts your energy from seeking approval to commanding respect through your achievements. Silence empowers you to work steadily, resist distractions, and stay committed to your purpose even when progress feels slow or invisible. Silence also challenges the urge for instant gratification. In a world addicted to constant updates and reactions, staying silent requires patience and discipline. It teaches you to trust the process rather than the immediate applause or recognition. This trust is a rare strength that separates those who build lasting success from those who burn out chasing fleeting attention. The discipline of silence allows you to develop deep endurance, mental, emotional, and physical, that fuels sustainable growth. It reminds you that meaningful change is built over time, quietly but surely. When you embrace silence as the foundation for action, you step into a new level of personal power. Your energy is no longer scattered but focused. Your intentions become clear and your efforts consistent. You become unstoppable not because you shout louder, but because you move with deliberate, quiet force. This is a silent strength that turns dreams into reality and ambitions into achievements. It is the space where your true potential awakens, driven by action, fueled by silence. This is how silence creates space for greatness within you. Your silence is your greatest weapon. In a world that demands noise, where everyone fights to be heard, choosing silence sets you apart. It disarms conflict, diffuses tension, and commands respect without saying a word. Silence becomes a language of power, a statement that you are in control, unshaken by the chaos around you. When you wield silence intentionally, you gain influence over situations and people without confrontation or force. It is a force that cannot be seen, but is deeply felt. This invisible power moves through your presence, your calm, and your refusal to be drawn into unnecessary battles. Silence forces others to fill the void. When you stop reacting, responding, or defending, the noise around you often rises to reveal its own emptiness. This reveals true intentions and weaknesses that words often hide. You create an atmosphere where your calmness unsettles those who seek to provoke or manipulate. They lose their power because they rely on your reaction to feed their game. By staying silent, you refuse to be baited. You show that your peace and focus are more valuable than temporary victories in conflict. This strength shifts power back to you and lets you lead with quiet authority. Choosing silence also sharpens your emotional intelligence. It trains you to observe rather than react, to understand rather than judge. This creates a mental edge that few possess. Instead of getting lost in drama or frustration, you maintain clarity and control. You become adept at reading situations and people, anticipating outcomes without getting entangled in unnecessary disputes. This emotional mastery is a key to resilience and success. It allows you to navigate complex social landscapes with ease, making decisions based on wisdom rather than impulse. Silence is the foundation on which this mastery is built. The power of silence is not passive, it is deeply active. It requires conscious choice and discipline to hold back words that tempt you in the heat of the moment. This restraint is the ultimate form of strength because it resists immediate gratification for long-term gain. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you build the muscle of self-control that shapes your character and destiny. You become less vulnerable to manipulation and more capable of responding with intention and power. This strength radiates confidence and earns respect in ways that loud words never can. Silence also becomes your personal sanctuary. It protects your mental and emotional space from being invaded by negativity and distractions. In this sanctuary, you recharge, reflect, and realign with your purpose. You separate yourself from the noise of opinions, gossip, and drama that cloud judgment and drain energy. This peaceful space allows you to stay grounded and focused on what truly matters, your growth and your goals. By guarding this space fiercely with silence, you nurture a calm resilience that no external storm can shake. When you understand the power of your silence, you stop chasing approval and attention. You learn that your value is not measured by how much you say, but by the quality of your presence and actions. Silence becomes your silent revolution, a quiet rebellion against the noise and chaos that distract from your true power. It is a tool for transformation, a path to freedom, and the ultimate expression of self-mastery. This is why your silence is your greatest weapon. It is the force that will carry you beyond limits and into your highest potential. Your silence is not just an absence, it is a presence, a force that shapes your reality and transforms your life. In a world that constantly demands your voice, your energy, and your attention, choosing silence is an act of radical self-respect. It is the space where your true power grows, untainted by the chaos of external noise. When you embrace silence as a daily practice, you create a foundation of calm strength that no storm can break. This foundation supports every decision you make, every challenge you face, and every goal you pursue. Silence becomes the source from which all your courage and clarity flow. In this silence, you reclaim control over your inner world. Your thoughts become clearer, your emotions more balanced, and your intentions sharper. The noise of doubt, fear, and distraction no longer controls your mind. Instead, you develop the ability to focus deeply on what matters most. This focus fuels your progress and resilience. It protects you from being overwhelmed by the endless demands of the world around you. Silence is the quiet power that anchors you amid uncertainty and pressure. It allows you to act with intention rather than react out of impulse. This shift is where transformation begins. Silence also transforms your relationships. When you practice silence, you listen more than you speak. This deep listening creates space for understanding and connection that words alone cannot achieve. It builds trust because people feel truly heard and valued. Your silence invites respect and thoughtful engagement rather than conflict or misunderstanding. It teaches you to respond with wisdom instead of emotion, turning potential arguments into opportunities for growth. This ability to communicate through calm presence elevates your influence and deepens your bonds. Silence becomes a bridge that connects hearts and minds. Choosing silence requires courage because it challenges the need for constant validation. It asks you to stand firm without proving yourself to others. This courage builds inner confidence that is unshakable because it is rooted in self-awareness, not external approval. When you stop seeking attention through words, you start commanding respect through your character and actions. This silent confidence radiates power without force. It invites others to follow you not because you shout the loudest, but because you stand the strongest. Your silence becomes a magnet for those who value authenticity and strength. Silence sharpens your ability to act with precision and purpose. Without the distraction of unnecessary words, your energy flows directly into meaningful action. You learn to conserve your strength for moments that truly demand it. This discipline helps you avoid burnout and frustration that come from scattered efforts and wasted energy. Every silent pause becomes an investment in your future success. You move with deliberate intent, turning vision into reality through steady, focused steps. This is how silence becomes the engine of your unstoppable momentum. When you fully embrace silence, you step into a new way of being. You move through life with calm assurance, emotional mastery, and deep clarity. Your silence is not emptiness. It is the powerful space where your highest self emerges. It is your greatest ally in a noisy world, guiding you toward transformation, growth, and lasting peace. This is why silence is not just an option. It is your path to greatness.